Hey gang, I'm here to talk about Toronto ComiCon and having a table in Artist Alley. I just want to say I was really excited about getting in and being able to have a setup at one of the largest cons in Ontario, probably the third or fourth largest in Canada, and I'm sure it's high up there for all of North America. Prior to this, I've done 15 cons or slash events, maybe you could call them, like since 2017. So a little bit under my belt, but nothing as large as Toronto ComiCon. So in order to prepare, I drew 13 original art sketch covers for the show. Yeah, 13. So I drew Rocket Raccoon and Groot, Hulkbuster, Lou Ferrigno Hulk, Thor, Harley Quinn, Wolverine, Batman, Spider-Man, The Mandalorian, Kang the Conqueror, Shazam and the whole family there, Miles Morales Spider-Man, the Batman Who Laughs. Oh, I'm also getting a phone call right now, but I'm not going to get it just yet. I'll just let it go. So, I also drew 36 sketch cards. Spider-Man, Wolverine, Thor, Iron Man, Daredevil, Punisher, Venom, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, Batman, Superman, Harley, Joker, Thanos, Deadpool, Carnage, Vader, Maul, Mando, Boba Fett, Goku, Naruto, Jinx, V, another Spider-Man, Wolverine, Venom, another Batman, Monkey, Indiana Jones, Galactus, Ultraman, Ultraman Jack, and Butcher. That was a lot of work to crank out in like 3 months' time. Like, that was a lot of drawing. So this is all original art. This is like one of a kind. That's it. So I also printed up a new art book with some of my latest work, and of course 11 by 17 prints, right? Because everybody has prints at shows. As I said, I was excited and I brought a lot of product and art to be sold. So I want to do a full rundown of all the costs and what I made at Toronto ComiCon to see if it was worth it. Not only for myself, but for others that are thinking about getting a table in Artist Alley. So let's start off. Social media. Yeah, before we even get into the actual con prices, we need to talk about advertising. So I made 55 posts advertising about the con. Every time I made new art, I made a post about it and advertised, I'm going to be at Toronto ComiCon and this is where I'm going to be, table, blah, 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 blah. I also did posts that brought awareness to everything I would be selling. So like I did posts about the prints and showcase some of them, or the art books that I would be bringing, etc., etc. So with design of the graphics, right, for all the social media, because that takes time, and actually posting on all the social media, I would say it takes about 15 minutes for each. So that's like almost 14 hours, 13.75 hours of labor. So even if we did minimum wage in Ontario, that would be about like $200.75. So yeah, so right now we're sitting at $200.75. So we got to add that to the total cost of the con. So the table for 3 days, March 17th to 19th, 2023, was $401.15. It's fair, for a large con, and, for 3 days. So, but in order to have a table at Toronto ComiCon, you have to have insurance. Now, I've never had to get insurance at any other con I've been at. Never, right? And I've even asked other artists who have had tables at Fan Expo events, and they've never done it before either. And I'm talking like in the States or in Canada. No one's ever done it before. So I had to double check, and I reached out to them, and they said, yes, you have to have insurance. So you have two options. You can go with their insurance or get your own. So looking at their insurance with the cost, like what they were offering, is $200 for all 3 days. So like you have an option, fill out this paperwork, you get under their insurance is $200. So, and it was supposed to be a good deal, right? But I wanted to make sure it was the best deal, so I went online, and within a few minutes I found a place that would do it for $81.43. So that's a better deal, and it's like less than half of what they were asking. So I did that, right? So the place I went to was, if you're wondering, is duuo.ca, and they offer vendor insurance. So if you ever need insurance, for a con, maybe that's an option. So with all of that now brings us to a cost of $683.33. So it's getting up there, Now, if you're like me, you don't actually live in Toronto, so you have to book a hotel. And since the con takes place during March break, you can imagine all of the reasonably priced hotels, lodgings, etc. were all booked up. And I couldn't justify paying the price like that some of these places were asking, especially if I was only going to be sleeping there. I'll be at the convention the entire day, and I would be exhausted. I would just pass out. So the best option I found was in Oakville, which is about half an hour away. So I got a hotel at the Quality Inn and Suites. That was $393.45 from Thursday night to Sunday morning, right? So that's going to bring the total cost of the con now to $1,076.78, right? So it's a good thing I drew so much original art for this, as the total's really starting to add up, right? I'm going to make the money back, right? So before I depart, you have to book with Voyage Control, okay? You got to get a time slot to move in and use the loading dock. So in previous emails with Toronto ComiCon, I was under the impression from what they were hinting at was that artist alley tables are small, and they would more than likely load in on Friday before the show, as they have less stuff in it. That makes complete sense, right? Like, we're not a huge vendor that's got to cart a lot of things in. So you can get a parking pass early, and if you do it early, you get a cheaper rate. So I booked it for Friday to Sunday, so that's $51, right? $51 for the parking pass. So now we're at $1,127.78. But then I hear back, and my load time is Thursday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. So that makes a little different, but that's okay. We can work with it, right? We can roll with it. So, all right, everything is planned. I have all my printing done for the show. My fingers are crossed that I ordered enough prints, because it would really suck if I ran out of prints, but, I'm going to try and sell as much as I can. I'm not going to put the printing costs down because, to be fair, I'm only going to subtract what I sold, right? Because if I said, I printed, X amount and it cost me so much, I'm only going to subtract what I actually sold as prints, because I'm going to use these prints at other shows, right? So, all right, Thursday comes. This is the day. I'm really excited. This is going to be awesome, right? I'm going to be at Toronto ComiCon. It's going to be huge. So I drive from Windsor, where I live, to my hotel in Oakville. That's 331 kilometers. The hotel is great. There's plenty of room. After checking in, I have like an hour before I have to leave to get to the convention center and do my load-in. So I take a power nap. Yeah, because, got to conserve your energy, got to keep your strength up. Okay, so after the nap, we go off to Toronto ComiCon, which is at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. So that's 31 kilometers. So that's another $4.56 in gas. So now our total goes up to $1,181.99. Okay, so I get down there and I follow the directions. And as if anybody knows, downtown Toronto is crowded. I turn into the area for the loading dock, and it's off John Street, but it's on a slant, right? And in this passageway, it's like where you're supposed to go up, you're inching up and you're behind other cars because there's a queue of people to get in, right? People need, like, that are getting to unload. And there's also cars coming down and leaving every once in a while. But on top of that, there are tons and tons of pedestrians, walking up and down that whole ramp. And there's no sidewalk, so they're walking willy-nilly between cars or whatever. And, they're walking their dogs. They got baby carriages, and we're like bumper to bumper, right? And to me, this feels extremely dangerous. They only have one person managing this area, watching and directing things. And I really felt this is not safe. This is not cool. And I arrived at 7, like I was supposed to, because my spot was from 7 to 7:30. And we slowly started inching up. So by the time I got in, it was 7:30. So it was about a half an hour on this small stretch leading up. And I gotta say, I wasn't in a great mood, especially because I drive stick. So every time I have to inch up, I have to take it out of neutral and put it up and go and drive. And my car is gonna roll back. It's gonna roll back a little bit every time. And there are people right on my bumper. And it's so easy to hit them, so easy because, there is just not enough room. And it was just too chaotic. But anyways, I get into the convention center, I set up, I make 3 trips from my car to get to my table, bringing stuff, and it's crowded. There's tons of people setting up all over the place, and over the loudspeaker, you keep hearing them say you can't keep your vehicle inside. While you set up, you have to drop your stuff off and go park somewhere, right? And I was just not in the mood, so I was like, screw it. I just dropped my stuff off at my table, I got in my car, and I went back to the hotel. I figure, set up tomorrow, right? So that's another 31 kilometers, $4.65. Now we're at $1,186.64. So by the time I get back to the hotel, I check in with my people, let them know I'm all good, and then I pass out, right? Now I know I need to be there early, I have to set up, so I just kind of go to bed really early. So, wake up, Friday morning, first day at the con, this is gonna rock, right? This is gonna be awesome. So, we're going back. That's another 31 kilometers, that's another $4.65. So now our new total is $1,191.29. Alright, we find a parking spot in the park, and the parking pass worked great. I'm glad I bought it before at the discounted rate, because it's pretty expensive to park there. So I take my time and I set up. So I was going to take a video of setting up, but I was really, really worried that I would be eating up my phone battery. And with no power to be able to charge the phone, I couldn't justify having my phone die. And I need the phone to be to use for my Square, so when people are paying with debit cards or credit cards. So I just I didn't do that. So and the show, it lasts till 7 p.m. so it's a long show, right? Even though the doors open at 10, so 10 to 7, but still we're there way early to set up. So okay, I'm going to talk about my setup. So I have my tablecloth, and I'll show that. And I designed that with previous sketch covers I've drawn, and it's great. It's eye-catching. A lot of people comment on it. Most people don't realize that it's all my drawings that are on there, but that's okay. I'm not going to add this to the bill of how much things cost because I bought it long ago. I used it at other cons. It's cool. So I did buy some new things, and we're going to talk about that. The first is my rotating pegboard. And I bought this specifically for the con and the 10 cons that I'm going to be doing this summer, right? Or this year, not really summer. It's pretty cool. And if the shelves that I designed, I designed pegboard shelves in 3D and to have them printed, it would have been great. As then I could have moved the shelves around depending on what the product was, and it can spin around. But I didn't get the demo printed in time, unfortunately. I thought I sent it way ahead of time to be able to get this done, but it's okay. It's fine. So we're gonna like MacGyver it. We're gonna jury rig it. So what I did was I ordered clear shelves that you put records on to hang on walls, and then I used a bit of double-sided tape to stick it to the rotating pegboard, and then I took Gorilla Tape and I wrapped it around just to make sure it's secure, right? Now they also have an option which I bought, was like you can put a clear sign where you can slide a sign inside on top of it. So I got that all together, and like all the products fit in, you know, because I'm mainly going to be putting sketch cards, and it's pretty cool. I like it. It's convenient. It's, you know, a bit of a pain to carry around, but it's good for the table and people can just look. So the price of putting this display and putting it all together, the display itself was $149.76. So that's like with shipping and duty fees and all that stuff, right? It's like 14 inches wide by 20 inches high, and it's pretty cool. Now I had to buy those shelves. Those shelves were another $141.44. And I'm going to say about $20 for the tape and another $1 to print the sign, right? Now, granted, the tape is going to be used over, you know, multiple periods for other things as well, but it's still a cost. So $315.20 for it all. It seems like a lot, but I'm going to be using it, you know, for at least 10 cons, maybe more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to divide that price by 10. So $31.52. So now the total is $1,222.81. Now we have our backdrop, right? Like this thing here. I've been using other backdrops like the photography bar, like, you know, where you hang your prints from, or wire cubes. I've used them in the past, but I really wanted to up my game and make things look nicer, make it easier on myself. So I bought this 3-panel folding display, and it's really cool because it all folds up and it goes into a carry-on bag, and it takes like seconds to, you know, put it up, seconds to take it down. The fabric is great because it's good for Velcro. So if I want to be able to attach anything, I can put it anywhere I want, right? So like I can pull something off because I have like little Velcro things. I can just stick it back on, move things around, whatever. So I think it's pretty cool, right? It really speeds things up, and, you know, I think it's a great investment, but it is an expensive purchase. Okay, so before I forget, the pegboard thing I got at a place called Azar Displays, I believe it was. I'll put a link probably somewhere about where that is. This thing here I got at Displays to Go, and it was $708.17. So I know it sounds like a lot, but, you know, I'm going to be using this for a long time. But let's just divide it by 10, you know, 10 cons, because who knows, maybe after these 10 cons I'm never doing cons again. Who knows, right? So that's going to be $70.81. So our total is $1,293.62. So we need to add a few more costs here to like setting up our table. We got business cards, right? So I ordered 500 business cards, and that was $73.71. I'm going to split that up again, so it's like $7.31. We also have signs. We can't forget about printing signs because, you know, you need prices, etc., right? So I'm going to say I spent about $5 on signs. Now, I won't split that price up because signs can get destroyed, and, you know, when you're taking them down, and also between different cons you may want to change your pricing up, so they'll need to be printed again. So that brings our total up to $1,305.93. Yep, it's getting up there. Okay, so we're all set up, ready to go. It's day one. We can do this. This is going to be awesome. We're going to make lots of sales. Everything's going to be great. Ugh, not so great. But there's hope, right? Saturday's the big day. Maybe the comic book crowd didn't come on Friday as they have to work on, and they saved it for like Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is the huge day. Saturday is the big day. So we're going to go back to the hotel, and we have to add that driving cost again. So now we're at $1,310.58. So while I'm at the hotel, I decide, you know what? Let's try and do a targeted ad, right? Maybe just to help boost and make people aware. So I did an ad that's 1 kilometer around the Metro Toronto Convention Center. This way I can advertise and bring awareness of what I'm selling and where I'm at the con. So I did a paid ad for $20 that would last Saturday and Sunday. This might help, at least because maybe people can't find me, they don't get a chance to see me, don't know that my work's there, that I'm available, or how cool the stuff is I have, or not cool, who knows. I didn't keep track of the food expenses, but I think it's a good time to add it, right? Like, you figure snacks for the road, meals, etc., the overall trip. So I don't know, let's just round it off to like $100, right? I think that seems fair. $100 in food is probably more because the cost of things is pretty expensive. So now we're at $1,430.58 in total costs. It's really starting to sink in. This is costing a lot. So let's speed things up. All right, driving back to the con, back to the hotel, and then back to the con again on Sunday is going to add another $13.95 in gas. So that's going to bring the total up to $1,444.53. The last expense, of course, is driving home, and that's another $54.15. I'm probably forgetting some things. There's probably some other expenses that are in there, like, did I buy stickers for pricing, etc., etc. But I'm just going to leave it at what it is right now, which is, it's going to be $1,498.68. So that's the total cost of everything right now. So that's a lot. So let's talk about sales. All right. So on my Square, I had a total number of sales of $146.01, right? Because Square takes its fees, but that's the profit that I got. So I have to remember that. So subtracting those from my inventory, I was able to figure out what I sold in cash as well. So going through things. Original art sketch covers. These are the big priced items. These are the things that are going to save me. This is going to give me my money back. And, I hope, right? How many of them sold? None. Not a single one. So we're going to move on to the original art sketch cards that I drew. I sold 4 of them. I have to subtract the cost by printing those sketch cards because I had them created, and also because they all come in a Ultra Pro One Touch case. I give it like this, so that it's nice, so that, my total profit for those 4 cards is about $60. And the sad thing is, 2 of them were bought from a friend in Windsor that could have bought them there, and the other was bought from another friend who has bought stuff off me before online and was already aware of me. So that's, 3 of them were in total. Only 1 was bought from somebody from the con that I didn't initially know. So that's not great. Not great at all. Let's talk about the art books that I did. So I sold 12 art books in cash. None were bought with the Square. So I have to subtract the cost of printing with those, like the shipping costs, like to get them, the bags and boards for them because they're comic book size. And this is probably my fault because I should really charge more for them, but I like to keep it affordable, and it's kind of like just a nice thing for people. So from those 12 books, I made $10.80. Yeah. So I've decided I got to double the price of those from the future, but even still, live and learn. Lastly, prints. Okay, so 11 by 17 prints. So over the 3 days, we sold 40 prints. Some of these were discounted, like with the buy X amount and you get it for X cost, right? So the more you buy, the cheaper it is. And the ones that were bought in the Square, we also have to keep in mind that the Square takes fees as well. And then we also have to keep in mind the cost of every one of them has a sleeve, and how much it costs, to print them. So I can figure out in my mind how much, and I did all the math. So the total profit from prints was $272.01, which was my highest selling thing. So that brings our grand total profit to be $342.81 from the 3 days at Toronto ComiCon. So, if we subtract that profit from the con itself, like the cost of everything, Toronto ComiCon cost us so I have to say, I have never lost money doing a con before, and for it to be this much is pretty outstanding. So, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Like, what was it? And if I have to be honest, I had no idea that this con is not a Comic Con. I know it says it right in the name. It's not a con for comics. It's not a Comic Con. Sure, there are some there, but that's not the demographic. For me witnessing firsthand, and I watched a lot of videos of people interviewing people or whatever they did at Toronto Comic Con, because I want to analyze this, I want to know, I want to understand. This con is for people that would like to be dressed up as their favorite anime characters and show off their costumes and meet new friends that are also dressed up as anime characters. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, but that is their purpose, that is their main goal, so the bulk of the population is that. And I have to say, 90% of those dressed up were like of an anime nature. So they were buying, and from what I've seen and what I talked to people, I've talked to other vendors and such, they're really only buying cheap things, like really cheap things, like stickers of their favorite anime character, maybe a couple prints, but they're not really there to spend money on big items. They're there to meet people and make friends with new people and show off their outfits and be excited about their fandom, right? And that's great. That's what this has evolved into. But this was not the demographic that I was geared to sell to. So it's not the attendees' fault. It's just evolution, right? And maybe this is the future of all cons. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. We're going to see, because, out of all the cons I'm going to, I'm going to see, is this something that is changing, right? So, in conclusion, I'm going to say, if you're a more North American-based comic artist, like a DC or a Marvel or superheroes and stuff like that, or even selling indie comic books of that kind of genre, etc., this is probably not the con for you. I really hope this helped others in the future. My lesson's been learned, and as I said, I'm doing about 10 cons this year, and I want to make sure I analyze each one and see what's worth it, what's not, what's a good return on my investment, etc. Anyways, I never go on camera. This isn't something I really expected to do, but maybe I'm going to do it more often. Who knows? Anyways, thanks for watching, and take care.